Okay, anytime.
Okay, we're ready. Okay, I think so. All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to SUMO Community Call. It's April 2021, and today we don't have any guests, but there are a few updates that we are going to talk about. So let's see if we can fill out the 45 minutes time that we have. But yeah, otherwise I think we can end early if it's not necessary. So before we jump into the topic, I'm going to remind everyone here to add your name in the wiki page. The agenda is here. I'm going to paste it in the chat. So if you're here in the Zoom room, or if you watch this from Airmo or from YouTube, please add your name in the wiki page so we know that you're here. Cool. So let's just get started. First, let's start with the contributor shout out. I have one, which is for database Ben. So welcome back, database Ben, for thank you for actively contributing back to the forum. He mentioned that he contributed back then. So welcome back, and thank you for being active in Matrix channel. So yeah, I only have one shout out for this week. And the next topic is topic of the week. We have two here. The first one is what's up with SUMO, which is something that we just started. I just published a few days ago. So basically, it's an old routine that the old community managers did, but then it's kind of stopped after they left. But I guess it's a good tradition to have like a summary of what we have accomplished for the past month. But the first one is about Q1 because it's we haven't been doing that for a while. So I think it's nice to have a little summary of what we have been doing for the past quarter. So please check it out if you haven't. It contains lots of summary about what we have accomplished and product updates and some community statistics that I pulled out from Kitsune and from Google Analytics. So yeah, please check it out if you haven't. Yeah, and for the future, we're going to have this kind of updates more regularly. So basically, we're going to have this in a monthly basis. Hopefully the next version of this will out next month to give you a recap of what we have been working on during this month, the month of April. So yeah, please check it out.
Kiki, can I hop in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I think this is really great, and I was really excited to see Kiki put this together. So I hope you all find it very useful. And the one ask that I would have for this is if you have ideas on what you want to see, since this is a report we want to build for you, the contributors that help us get this wonderful work done. What do you want to see in this? So if you have stuff that you would like to see or think would be valuable for you and the rest of the contributors to see on a pretty regular basis, like on a monthly basis, then to let us know, ping Kiki, ping myself, tell us that you have some feedback regarding that specific, the SUMO What's Up for Q1, and just let us know what you're thinking or what you'd like to add, and we'll take that into consideration when doing the next report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for calling that out, JR. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. It's midnight here. But yeah, please, if you have any other idea about like what you think that we need to add in that kind of like report or like newsletter, just please let us know so we can consider to like add them in the future or in the next version. So yeah, that's for the What's Up with SUMO. And the next one is related to that because I also put that in the blog post. It's about Firefox Daily Digest. It's a new newsletter that we sent throughout the week, so from Monday through Friday, which is basically a summary of what's happening and like what people have been talking about around social media about Firefox. So I put there a summary of what people have been talking about in Reddit, Twitter, as well as Google News. So yeah, please check it out and subscribe if you want to, if you're interested in this kind of updates. And again, if you have any ideas on what we need to add in, like if there's any other updates that you think we need to add in the Firefox Daily Digest that you think will be beneficial for us to monitor regularly, please let me know. I personally find it really useful to read that in the morning to see what people have been talking about, across social media about Firefox, especially during, time like this, because we're just one version away from Proton or MR1 or Firefox 89. So it's just nice to see on and hear what people have been talking about Firefox. So yeah, please subscribe if you would like to get updates. For me, it's been useful and just really nice to sit in the morning to catch up with Firefox stuff. Yeah, so and please share with your community to see if they're also interested about that. Cool. I'm gonna pause here to see if there's any questions so far. I see there's like someone just joined us. Hey, Thomas, thank you for joining.
I have a quick question about this. This is the first time I'm seeing this, and I think it looks great, and this is awesome. Something that I just recently did, which I could actually sub this in for the desktop team, is pull together all the our Firefox, the top threads. Usually I just sort by the top ones for the last month, and then provide those to the team to look at, because a lot of the ones recently are around Proton, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is very valuable. I'm interested, how does this get put together? Is this something you put together, Kiki, or is this something that is like a collaboration?
It's basically the feature in the service that we're using for this. It's Mailbrew. They kind of like have an automatic system where they automatically just pull out a few updates from around Reddit and social media, and then automatically just put them in a newsletter. So yeah, it's an automatic thing.
Perfect. Okay.
So I don't usually manually do it.
I was about to say, I wonder how much work that would be. But yeah, we can go ahead. I was just curious. I'll look into it a little bit further as well.
Yeah, and also Reddit has been, like something that we've been interested for a while, but never really get there. So I guess like by having this newsletter, it's nice to, like get updates about that without manually searching for that. And we can also take that into our product reports if you think that it's useful.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Cool. So yeah, that's Firefox Daily Digest. And we can move on to the next one, which is the Mozilla's World Update. The first one is about Common Voice. You probably have heard about this. So we collaborated with NVIDIA to so they basically invest in the project and help us to fund the project. So there has been some changes inside the team as well related to that. So if you have been following the news about Common Voice, you probably heard about this, but this is a good news for us. So yeah, please check out the blog post if you haven't, and yeah, share it to your community if it's something that of interest for your local community. And then the next one I have about MozFest. I put there a link to Airmo recordings of MozFest 2021. So if you missed the event, don't worry about it, because the recordings are all there in Air Mozilla, and you can watch like on demand, which I need to do as well. I think I missed that like the live event. So I need to watch the recording myself. So yeah, please check it out if it's of your interest. And the next one, which is the last one in the section, is the call for stories. So we just, the marketing team just pull out this form to look for collaboration with artists or like people who have stories about Firefox who wanted to be featured in our product or our marketing material. So if you're interested in that, and if you would like to be present in our product, please just fill out the form, and then the marketing team will reach out to you if they choose you. So yeah, that's all from the Mozilla's World Update. The next section would be product updates. So I'm going to hand it over to JR.
Yep. All right. So this week we had Firefox 88 go up across the board. It's a feature light release, as all of you may know, because the Proton or major release 1 for desktop is coming up in Firefox 89. So this one was feature light. Go ahead and click into the link and you can see what updates there were that went into 88. Just keep in mind that a majority of things are going to be happening in the next release. So the next release is going to be jam-packed with stuff, and I'm sure you'll get some more information from me about that then. We have on the horizon, so next week, the Mozilla VPN product is finally launching to Germany and France. There's a huge amount of people on the wait list, so we're pretty excited to see how many people drop into the funnel and see what the queue looks like after that in terms of the forum and social, and also for our Zendesk or frontline agents. After that, or outside of that, we have the 89. Something to call out specifically for this is that we have an extra 2-week beta cycle that's been baked into the 89 release. So the 89 release has been pushed to June 1st to allow for this 2-week beta cycle that'll have all the additional testing to make sure the functionality for Proton and major release 1 is ready for that 89 release on the June 1st. Something I wanted to call out about this is just the desktop team is pretty keen on hearing and learning and understanding the feedback that we're getting around the major release 1 with the Proton changes. This is available in nightly right now, so we don't expect to see a huge amount of tickets coming into the forum specifically. But if any of you have been surfing Reddit at all recently, you'll probably understand that there's a lot of people talking about this online in terms of those changes upcoming and what they like and what they don't like about them. So with that in mind, if you do end up seeing forum questions or you see stuff on social, like through the Converse social portal that you're wanting to work on that's relating to the major release 1 or Proton, please tag it. That's really good for someone like me to go back to the desktop team and showcase, hey, this is what contributors have been seeing about this. These are the sentiments, so that they can hopefully take a good look and make sure that we're up to spec with that release before it comes out, and that we address any major concerns. So that's just an ask from me. If you guys have the time or the capacity, or you do see stuff, tag it with MR1, and that way Kiki and I can look through Converse Social, can look through the forum, and identify those specific pieces of feedback or threads to pull back to the product team. The last thing I have here in the list is we just did an update or a release today for the support site. So I've added the Kitsune release notes that are linked here in the document. So if you're interested to see what updates and changes went into that, definitely click into there and take a look. And that's all I have for product updates. I'm wondering if anybody has any questions.
JR, I just added a forum link, a discussion in the forum, contributor forum, about there's somebody who asked where to give feedback about Proton, because in Kitsune we only have the official version, like the release version, but we don't have beta or nightly. So I say that they can just create a new question in our support forum. But yeah, I don't know, or tweet to Firefox support, for example. But yeah,
I would
don't
say
know
that.
If you have any other suggestion.
So I would say that The other suggestions that I have right now are actually, I don't have it fully formed yet, but essentially Krupa, who is working with the fox fooding situation for Proton. And so basically what I need to do right now is go back and talk with her and see where she's surfacing that information. That would be an ideal place to surface feedback. It'll have a testing plan. So where the team is looking for specifically contributors like you guys, because you're power users of the desktop product, to go in, go through the simple tests, and then provide feedback or submit bugs based off of that. So once I get some of that information on where that channel is and where she wants to surface, collecting this feedback, I can provide that to everyone here in our Matrix channel, and I'm provided to Kiki to make sure it gets out to everybody else. And then you'll have a very clear place to provide feedback that's specific to that update. I would say outside of that, or before I get that information, if you do have something you want to add, do what Kiki just noted. You can either at Firefox support so that we see it if it's Twitter, or you can add a question to the forum and then just tag it if you do with the MR1 so that we can identify it pretty quickly without going through all of the forum questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm gonna call just on fox fooding thing that you mentioned, JR, because last week we did the campaign in our local community, Jakarta, and I personally find that the activity is pretty much focused on quality assurance than feedback collection. So I think it will be best to just tweet or just like file a question in our support forum if you have any feedback about Proton or MR1, or just start a thread in Reddit perhaps, because we are also we'll be monitoring Reddit thread pretty closely now.
So considering that situation with the fox fooding being more about quality assurance than general feedback, I think the notes about actually starting a Reddit thread is a good idea. And the reason I say that is because it's easy enough in Reddit right now to sort by the top thread. So the one that has the most votes and has the most comments. And those are the ones we really want to surface. So if there's a discussion on Reddit, which I've seen a couple that have like hundreds of comments or have hundreds of votes, those are the ones that the desktop team will be very interested in reviewing to see whether people are upset or happy with that change. So that's an easy way. And it also ups the priority of the feedback. If you post something that you feel strongly about, that's in terms of feedback for it, and then that starts collecting a discussion on Reddit, then it's going to go up higher in the thread, which means that the desktop team will put more importance on that type of feedback. Individual feedback is really hard to quantify because it's singular. It's like one person out of the millions of people that this might affect. So we want to showcase feedback that generates a big kind of interaction or discussion. And that's the stuff that they're really going to pay attention to.
Yeah, I wish we could have like an easy way to track this in Kitsune without having to manually tag every question. Like for example, in Campus Social, we can automatically set a rule for certain keywords, and then it will automatically tag that kind of conversation with the tag that we already defined. But unfortunately, right now, we are still pretty much need to do it manually in Kitsune. So please bear with us on that. And we're also planning a, right now, we're planning a kind of like system to track those across channel and like deliver the report back to the product team prior and during the release. So hopefully we can actually like take an action for all the feedbacks that we receive from across the channels that we own. Does any contributor have access to Kitsune? I think so. Kitsune is basically support of Mozilla.org. It's just a system. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. So, is there any question? Or Jerry, I see that you unmute yourself. Do you
Oh,
have any more
I was
experience?
just gonna say, yeah, that's my fault. I used Kitsune there. Kitsune is the support site, like Kiki said. That's just the engineering terminology that we use for it.
Mm-hmm. There's another question. How would we tag Reddit feedback? So right now in Reddit, we don't have any tracking plan in place because it's something new. Like we've been manually collecting threads and conversation around Proton in Reddit. But if you have any idea on how we can do that automatically, or like we can do it easier, please let us know. Especially as if I think you're more expert in this space since you're more active in Reddit. So please let us know if there's any way we can set up in Reddit so we can populate the informations that we receive in Reddit around Proton and get it delivered to the product team directly.
Let me I'm gonna try and share my screen real quick just to show you what I was talking about earlier. That might help clarify for that question. I'm hoping everyone can see my screen here. So this is I've just logged into my own Reddit account, and I have the subreddit for Firefox pulled up, and I've sorted here just for the past month by top. So this is a list of everything that I noted had included the word Proton that pulled into here. So essentially, if you want to submit feedback, I would suggest just go ahead and making a post make sure you have clearly the word Proton in the R Firefox channel. And that way it'll come up in these lists that we filtered. Now, the higher it will be based on how many people have voted for it and how many comments there are. So yeah, if you add feedback, it'll probably go down to the bottom of the list just because it has less. But if people start looking at it, discussing it, and have feelings about it, then it'll start bumping up on top of the list, depending on how many people are talking about it. So yeah, if it really catches a nerve with users, you'll probably see a lot of people start tagging in on that conversation or discussion. So again, post, select the label for discussion or Proton feedback, one of the two, if you're able to. Otherwise, just make sure that you comment in our Firefox with Proton in there so that we can pull it up with the filter. So I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I just noticed that we can do that in Reddit. Yeah, I've seen a lot of feedbacks about screenshot as well recently in Twitter. So yeah, definitely there are more to come that we will receive. So yeah. So Asif shared a link, like a Reddit link. Let me see. Yeah, it's about compact mode. A lot of people are talking about that like since a few months ago. So I believe it will just still garner a lot of attention in the coming month. So. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can actually tag a thread in Reddit. Not sure if probably moderator has like more access to that,
Right.
like more
Yeah.
flexibility.
I believe the moderators would have more access. What we can do though, because this one obviously it's talking about Proton, but didn't get posted with the Proton in the title. So it's not coming up in that filtered search that we have. So if there is stuff like this that you identify that's in the Firefox channel, I would say do something like you just did right now, Asif, like send a link to either me or Kiki. And that way we can add it to the list manually ourselves, not within Reddit, but just like within stuff to review for the desktop team before before Proton goes live. The Proton, it's the filter, it's an easy way to catch everything that says specifically Proton, but if it doesn't mention Proton but is about Proton, it's not going to track it. So for stuff like this right now, I think the best way would be to notify us about it. That way we can log it. And hopefully in the near future, we'll have a better way of going about this, but it's going to take a little bit of time for us to get in the habit of seeing what's up on Reddit.
Also, it's a good point, right? Because like probably for us who've been like closely monitor the situation, is already aware of all the keywords like Proton or like terms like MR1 and things like that. But maybe for the normal user, they don't know about those things. So maybe we need to reconsider adding another keywords that catches or like more familiar with the rest of the users that we have, instead of just power users that have been monitor closely the changes since nightly even. So yeah, just a thought. Anyway, so yeah, if there's no more question, I guess we can move on to the last section that we have. It's about knowledge base and localization. There's an article for workaround to get compact mode present again in the menu. So if you've been looking for that, or if like there are people who ask like, how can I activate compact mode? You can refer to this article, to this KB article for them, so they know how to do that. So yeah, that's all. I'm gonna stop here and see if there's any more questions before we can end the call. Going once, going twice, okay. That's all then. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you in the next one in May. So yeah, bye. See you next month.
Bye, everyone.